welcome back.
It's us again.
It's us again. These studio lights in here look super cool now. We're like all lit up.
I know. I don't think people understand the process that went into ultimately getting this ready for your viewing pleasure.
It has been an adventure, that's for sure.
It has been.
All right, so today we're talking. This is hot topic stuff, not Hot Topic, the goth store. Hot this is just a hot. This is just generally a hot topic. People are moving from California to Texas in droves.
Crazy amount.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm not gonna be like super Texas because it's like, stop coming in from California. The more the merrier. We got so much space here in Texas. It's ridiculous, man. Y'all keep coming. I don't care. But if you were thinking about it and you're on the fence, let's be neutral because we're very, we want to give you the good and the bad. I want to tell you about our reasons. One of the top reasons that someone would not move to California or not move from California to Texas right now.
Right.
So let's dive in. What do you think are the biggest reasons
for somebody to stay in California?
And don't come to Texas if this applies to you, what we're about to say.
Well, it's funny because the reasons that I think you and I really think are real reasons are not some of the reasons that we found when exploring this topic.
We're laughing in advance because we did some research on this. I think, okay, why don't we start? We'll make it fun. We'll start with our real reasons why you wouldn't move to Texas, and then we'll do what the interwebs say. So what are your reasons if you lived in California, you would say, maybe I don't want to move to Texas?
The weather and the topography crushes Texas, right? At least North Texas where we are.
If living in California is about the climate for you and you're like one of those people that affects your life in a big way, it is hot as hell here in the summer, and the winters you'd be like, oh, it's Texas. No, they're pretty not pleasant either. Like the winters are pretty bad here too. So climate it's definitely gonna be a climate shift.
Here's the thing for me, that is legitimately the beginning and end of the list. Because, and it's not that I think California is beautiful. I've been there. I'm just saying all the other reasons that people are moving here all make sense. But when we search, because we tried really hard to find reasons why not to move here, right? And that was one of them that we came up with. But then as we started exploring, it was like, you could tell the websites had the same problem we had because they had a very thin list of ideas.
They need to write a whole blog about it. We're being honest. We could only come up with the weather, which I think is fair, but that's not going to fill a whole. That's not going to help me if I'm trying to grow my blog. So the internet had a lot of other reasons, which were hilarious. So that is the end of our list.
Our list is ones and dones.
Yes, we literally have everything else here in Texas, and it's way better than what goes on in California. Just mark it down, come visit, check it out.
We're going to get to those reasons too.
Yeah, but here, let's do that now. So what does the internet say are their most important reasons you shouldn't move to Texas if you're living in California?
So you should stay in California. So I'm going to give these guys a shout out to CaliforniaMoversUSA.com. So if you're moving from California, I assume, to faraway places, call them. Kevin, the moving manager's little picture will pop up when you go to their website.
Shout out.
But they gave us some nice little that I think are hilarious. So the first is a necessity to get a Texas driver's license and car registration.
Man. So if that is important to you, starting off the list with a bang, if it is just a make or break thing that you are not going to get a Texas driver's license, if going to the DMV one time for 2 hours is too much for you to handle, do not come here.
Don't at all.
Because you're going to have to eventually do it, and I know that's a nightmare for people. So that's one.
The second one is legitimate, but also not something I've ever experienced in my 20 years here.
Okay.
Unpredictable weather changes and high chances of storms and naders.
God, I hope it really says naders.
It doesn't. I had to Texas it up for the California people watching this.
Okay, so to speak to this, is this... Let me ask you, this moving company, are they based in California or Texas?
That's a really good question.
Because I think that's important to know.
It's a 415 number that you call. I think they're in California, yes.
Okay.
San Jose, San Diego, San Francisco.
Okay, so to Ken's Movers, is that what they're called?
No, they're just California. Kevin's my guy.
Kevin's the guy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm getting it all butchered up.
Yeah.
So Kevin, the dude at the moving company, I hate to burst your bubble. I think that's something that they say, maybe that's one of like the mythology. It's kind of the same mythology that everyone in Texas rides a horse and wears a cowboy hat. There aren't just naders tearing through our cities,
just ripping them up
on the reg.
We're constantly cleaning up debris from all those.
It's so risky. We can't even go outside. No, I've lived here for 25 years now. Never actually seen a nader in real life. I've heard you see them on the news maybe once every 4 years. Sure. Somebody gets a little broke off. But they're not really, at least in this area. Now maybe look, listen. We are in Dallas-Fort Worth specifically, so maybe if you're moving to the Hill Country or somewhere else, it's different.
Maybe.
Yeah, here.
I think we're in that tornado belt, though, right? Like Oklahoma and everything.
Yeah.
We're the north.
We're kind of like right in the sweet
Texas
spot.
Tornadoes.
I would bet cash money, and there might be some statistics on this. What are my chances of being in an earthquake in California as opposed to getting sucked away by a nader in Texas? I bet they're pretty close.
There's definitely no earthquake stats. They're biased on the weather and natural disaster patterns.
This seems like a lot of one-sided info coming out of Kevin's movers over here. Whatever they're called.
One of the things they do say, and I think it depends on where you're at in California, there is a ton of traffic here in North Texas.
Yes.
Right? Like our highway systems are great, but we're so spread out that I can assure you right now, like everywhere you go is probably going to be a little more pleasant to drive outside of maybe some of the other metropolitan areas, major metropolitan areas.
Sure.
Dallas's traffic is a bit of a beating.
Yeah, and here's the thing: if you're moving to any major metropolitan area, I hope that you just kind of take that as a dose of reality. But that would be if we're being totally objective, that would be another thing in the poo-poo Texas column. We do have some pretty bad traffic here, but I think we have some pretty great places to go, so it's worth the wait.
These last two are my favorite ones.
Oh,
one,
heavens.
If you do not want a restricted choice of products for sale because there are not many farmers markets, then you got to stay in California.
I don't know how to respond.
I don't know either, because here's the thing is, like, one, it's 2020 as we record this.
Yes.
And I can really honestly get anything delivered to my door that I want.
Well, here's the thing. I'll tell you right now, and this is not me trying to be super bouge, I had stuff delivered to my house last week from a farmer's market.
Yes, that's
and I didn't even have to go to the farmer's market.
No. And look, here's the thing: this website is registered 2020, so it's not like this is like in hindsight that we just figured this out.
I feel like these moving people just think that we live in this barren wasteland with nothing but naders and no organic produce, and it's just a hellhole here.
It is,
and I can assure you, that is not the picture that we should be painted about Texas. There are farmers markets.
There are plenty of places to get fresh food.
I will grant you probably maybe the per capita farmers market density might be a little bit different, but if you're strategic about it, there's plenty of fresh produce. Fine. You're gonna be fine.
The last one, an inability to travel to other states because of big state area and the heavy traffic we mentioned. So
I don't know what to say to
I don't know either, because here's the thing is, right, isn't this all subjective? Isn't California huge too?
I feel like if you live on the coast and you're driving east, it's still pretty, you got to go pretty far east to get out of California.
If you drive from Brownsville to Amarillo, I'm sure it's super far. I also bet it's really far to drive from Baja, New Mexico or Baja, California, all the way to whatever the hell Northern California.
You would think, right? We live in Dallas. You can be out of the state in about 80 minutes.
Yes.
And you'll be in Oklahoma or Louisiana to the east.
Absolutely.
I think the other thing to mention is that is maybe pertinent for road trips. We do have the second most heavily trafficked airport in the United States in Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, second only to Chicago O'Hare.
And if you live in Dallas proper, you just go hop on Southwest Airlines in left field, and you can jump anywhere.
So
you can be in Austin in an hour.
If you're not afraid of planes, maybe if you're taking the John Madden route and you're just tour busing it everywhere, that's a legit concern. If you've ever traveled through the air, we got you covered.
we get planes here too.
Don't want to say that totally nullifies the argument there, but it seems logical that you would just fly if you wanted to go to another state.
It does to me too. And that is really what they came up with as far as the reasons to stay in California. So I'll tell you what, Californians, stay out of here.
If any of those apply to you. And in all seriousness, I commend this moving company, whoever it is. Shout out again. We might even throw their link.
We're going to
in
give their number and their link. And honestly,
yeah.
the reason that we found this so entertaining, and I'll say this again at the end, is their cross-country moving rates is actually kind of ridiculous. Because if you've ever tried to haul your stuff, like a whole, like I'm looking at prices right here, and it's less than $6,000 to move from California to Texas.
Oh, that's really good.
And that's pretty insane.
That's
it's
really
a
good.
long ways.
Well, mention undoubtedly Dallas, and they're not going to give you anything.
And they won't know what you're talking about.
But just mention it anyway because we're trying to blow up our YouTube channel.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, do it for us if anything.
Exactly.
I commend them because it was actually very difficult to think of reasons not to move to Texas from California. So they did their best, and so did we.
They did. So let's here's the thing is let's get the real rundown of why most people, because if you're watching this video, chances are the move to Texas is either on your horizon or in your near future, and you're trying to figure out what sort of mess you're about to get yourself into.
Yes.
Right? There are some really great things as far as California to Texas. Most of them are going to be financial.
Most of them are going to be financial. If you're an entrepreneur of any sort,
Yeah.
you have very favorable tax. I mean, I would say very favorable tax laws in any regard, no matter who you are. If you are of the mindset that Texas is just so much different than everywhere else, you got to get that out of your head, right? Like, I'll just give you my personal, right? Like, I don't wear a cowboy hat to ride a horse. I look out my window and I see the J.P. Morgan Chase skyscraper. Like, that's where I live. You know, I live in a very urban environment here in north of Dallas, which has literally everything and anything you could possibly find. And it's all either within walking or very short driving distance. So we have a very large metroplex. There is so much to do.
Absolutely.
So much to do.
Especially once you get exploring too, right? Like that's one of those things that I think anytime you go to a new place, you see the surface level stuff. But as you start to get into the guts and you start knowing about the cool stuff that's downtown and the cool gardens that are everywhere. And then, you know, we have every major sports team here. You don't have to go anywhere. And if you do, we got that big airport we were talking about, right? You can fly anywhere you want.
Exactly.
With all the extra money you save from not paying income tax, state income tax, right?
Exactly. It's a beautiful thing, man. We have everything that you could possibly want here and more. And it's not only that, it's only going to get better.
The economy here is blowing up. It's a very business-friendly environment, and I think that's why we've had so much growth, not just from California, because people from Florida and Louisiana round out the top 3 of people moving to Texas.
Yeah.
And all of those places, I think, I don't know about Florida and California, or Florida and Louisiana, but California, it's not the greatest place sometimes for businesses. Dallas is a very business-friendly, or Texas in general is a very business-friendly environment, and that's driving a lot of people here, and they're bringing tons of employees with them.
Yep, and they're bringing tons more, opportunities for mom and pop style businesses to thrive with the bigger population and things like that. So it's only going to get better. There's only going to be more of a diverse landscape of things to do, people, all kinds of stuff. So it's pretty awesome what's happening here. So if you are looking to move from California, and we didn't deter you with having to wait in line for a driver's license, and you're still interested in becoming one of us, our information is always below. Hit us up. We'd love to be of service any way that we can.
Try the barbecue.
Yeah, try the barbecue.
Nom, 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 nom.
All right, guys. Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.